very early age, from the age of 7, I knew I wanted to be a composer. So there was I had no doubt in my mind that that's what I wanted to do and what I was going to do. The title of the piece, The World Feels Pressure, it's from a book by Kyriakides, and my old teacher. It's basically, in a very objective, abstract language, tries to define what is the effect of one object on another. You might think it's talking about, relationships, the world, environment, whatever. It's in a way, it's such an abstract, open text, and I wanted to keep it like that. What I've written for the vocal soloista is in some ways very, very traditional. It's very simple music in some ways. How that's affected with the computer and with the sound, it becomes a bit more complicated or ambiguous, that you don't quite know what you're listening to. A lot of my work has to do with live electronics and electronic media, and I often use the computer, electronic media, to mediate one thing against another. And in this piece, it was the idea of using this commercial software called auto-tune, which we hear in a lot of popular music, and use it in such a way that in a way, it's the opposite of what it's intended for. It creates distortion when, let's say, one pitch is mapped against another. I'm interested in two things with music itself. Like a lot of my work is about language, and whether music is communicative medium or not. I mean, what music tells us. I'm interested in that aspect. So for me, the language part of music, it's something that and I don't mean speech, I mean the how music communicates. The borders by where we can see what's music, what's language, what's sound. So sometimes I use a musical idiom or a musical, but I try and draw lines with it to something where it stops perhaps being pure music, but being pure sound, pure space, or pure or literally language, that is just simply giving us a message. Whether it's extreme or not, that's totally subjective, Extreme for me doesn't necessarily have to be extreme dissonance, or it could be also extreme consonance. But the idea of the extremity of exploring borders of definitions or things, that is something I'm very much interested in. So I find myself like crossing in different categories often.
Okay, I'm ready, yeah.
That's what I find interesting anyway as an artist, that I don't necessarily feel comfortable particularly in one genre that has a very even academic sort of tradition. The conventional aspects of genres, I don't find that interesting, and I try and like exist in between these categories a bit. I'm involved in improvised music, of course electronic music, improvised electronic music. Not so much in the classical tradition, even though like most of my work actually involves classical musicians. And of course the art world, where I do a lot of more like sound installation. And also my own work usually involves some multimedia stuff, like I do a lot of video text pieces. I don't believe that we ever listen only with our ears. Also, we listen to a cello in a room. We're hearing the room, and we're hearing the space, and we're hearing our own thoughts. Our own thoughts mediating the music, and that this idea of the listening and the space, and is part of the package of music. All these other media, and as a composer or as an artist or whatever, can be manipulated or can be presented to an audience as a way of like engaging with the composition, let's say.